Okay, seriously, why is Murder Mystery 2 still this popular? This game has been out for over 10 years. We're reaching levels of old only achieved by games like Natural Disaster Survival. Genuinely, can you name another Roblox game that's not only this old, but one that has been this popular for this long? Murder Mystery 2 can range anywhere from 60,000 concurrent players all the way up to close to 200,000 concurrent players. And what's most impressive is that this game has actually done nothing but grow in popularity. So let's dive into Murder Mystery 2 to see why it's still so popular. Back in 2013, Roblox was experiencing somewhat of a renaissance. Gmod was a game that was extremely popular at the time, and to be honest, it's probably more popular now. But this was back during that Gmod boom of the early 2010s. Roblox developers took note of how similar of a concept Gmod was to Roblox as a platform, and many game modes that were popular on Gmod made their way over to Roblox. One of these game modes, and the one that happened to be the most popular at the time, was the murder game mode. And I'm just going to describe it as quite literally the same exact game mode that we have on Roblox today. Part of the reason for this, or at least what I imagine part of the reason for this was, is because the concept of a murder mystery game mode was simple enough at the time that most developers could reasonably make a working game of the same genre. In fact, back when Roblox used to do this thing called Roblox U, which was a series of now ancient game dev tutorials sponsored by Roblox themselves, a murder mystery type game mode called the Mad Bloxer was actually used as an example of what you could build on the platform. Naturally, this led to a lot of murder mystery type games on Roblox. Twisted Murder, The Mad Murderer, Clone Trooper 1019's Murder, and of course, Murder Mystery. One thing that's pretty funny about this sudden boom in murder games is that Lawlerus, the creator of Mad Studio, was also making a murder mystery type game at the same time Nicholas was. When both games were released, there was an insane three-way beef between Clone Trooper 1019, Nicholas, and Lawlerus. The beef got so bad that Shedletsky himself actually got involved. Pretty ridiculous stuff if you ask me. What's so hilarious about this beef was that neither Murder Mystery, Clone Trooper's Murder, or The Mad Murderer were really stealing from each other, but rather all three were stealing from Gmod, so the entire thing was completely pointless. Back to Murder Mystery, however, the party game we all know and love today is far from the same game that was created back in early 2014. There's a reason why Murder Mystery 2 has a 2 at the end of it. The original Murder Mystery was janky to say the least. Nicholas was clearly a much younger and more inexperienced developer, and the game had issues that really took away from the experience. However, that isn't to say that the original Murder Mystery didn't have cool mechanics, like the fact that during a round, everyone was disguised. This prevented teamers from ruining the game for everyone else by dragging rounds out to their absolute limit. This game was decently popular. It got a lot of attention on YouTube, yet it was overshadowed at the time by The Mad Murderer. That being said, despite the janky knife and gun scripts, Nicholas didn't give up on the game. He was clearly determined to make his murder mystery game the only murder mystery game people played on Roblox. A little while later, Murder Mystery suddenly became Murder Mystery 2 in what was essentially the official 2.0 update to the game. But you know what will always be relevant without needing a 2.0 update? My humble request for you to subscribe to this channel. As of writing this, we just hit 120,000 subscribers, and it's my goal to reach 150,000 by the end of the year. However, to do that, I need your help. So if you wouldn't mind checking below this video to see if you're subscribed or not, I would be extremely thankful. Now, back to the video. Murder Mystery 2 improved massively on the original, yet still kept the same formula. One thing to mention here is that Murder Mystery 2 delegated some of the key game mechanics from the original game into different game modes. Do you like how it was back in the good old days where everyone was disguised and nobody was playing audio so loud it actually broke my headphones? Play hardcore.
Hello. Posted the machine here back after many months of hibernation. Turns out Nicholas hates fun and changed what used to be hardcore into just disguises. Before, hardcore locked you into a first-person point of view, which added to the difficulty and dynamics of the game. However now, while there are still disguises in this mode, you can still play the game in third person, which kind of sucks in my opinion. Oh well, back to the video.
Hardcore MM2 is honestly my favorite way way to play the game, as it removes a lot of the annoying distractions from the main game and gives you a more pure murder mystery experience. Everyone is locked in first person and disguised just like the good old days, and I personally think that this is the best way to play the game. But this still begs the question, why is Murder Mystery 2 still popular? How has it survived longer than basically every other Roblox game from that time to date? Well, to figure that out, we need to look at every single game mechanic that MM2 has to see which ones stand out. You see, MM2 works like literally every other murder type game on Roblox. One person's the sheriff, one person's the murderer, the rest are innocents, the murderer must kill everyone in the round, the sheriff must shoot the murderer before they kill everyone in the round, and the innocents must run around like a chicken with their head cut off. This has been the standard for every single murder type game on Roblox for over a decade, and to be perfectly honest, MM2 innovates on that formula the least out of all of them. I'm serious, MM2 is probably the most bare bones example of a murder type game out of every murder type game on Roblox. It's by far the most cut and dry, kill or be killed murder mystery game, and I think that's what people like about it. While I personally prefer the likes of the Mad Murderer and even Clone Troopers Murder, more often than not, the most simple ideas are the ones that are the most effective at growing a dedicated returning fanbase. Nicholas no doubt realized this because instead of letting scope creep ruin the foundation of his game, Murder Mystery 2 has remained largely the same over its 10+ year lifespan. It's a consistently fun game with a formula that doesn't really need changing. Unlike Twisted Murderer or other murder games that had wacky, crazy, pay-to-win abilities, Murder Mystery 2's abilities are really low-key actually. There's one that makes you walk slightly faster with the knife out, one that lets you see enemy footsteps, and my personal favorite, Ninja, a perk that lets you kill players completely silently. There was no spam knife, there was no point-and-click laser knife, there was no shotgun knife, there was no exploding knife, there was nothing like that. Every ability was a support ability that actually took a decent amount of skill to use. For example, if someone saw you kill another player, it wouldn't matter that you had the ninja perk, because that person, like, literally just saw you kill someone, rendering the stealth gameplay the perk provides completely null and void. The lack of pay-to-win mechanics extends to the game passes as well. One is the Elite Pass, which gives you bonus coin space in your coin bag, we'll get to that later, as well as an XP boost and a red name tag. The other is a radio that lets you play sounds. That's it. Those are the only game passes in the entire game, unless you count the custom event knives, but that's not really gameplay related, so I'm leaving that out. Okay, so this is all fine and dandy, but the mark of a successful Roblox game has been proven to not be balanced, simple game mechanics, but rather the game's ability to capture a returning fan base. And boy howdy does Murder Mystery 2 have a dedicated fan base. The question remains, however, how? How did Murder Mystery 2 accomplish this? Like, what is this game's X factor? And is it the reason the game is still so popular today? Well, kind of. Let me explain. Like all games made in the early to mid 2010s, Murder Mystery 2 has an absolute ocean of different skins you can unlock through the magic of loot crates. It's actually pretty interesting to look at games like Murder Mystery 2 through this lens, as loot boxes have kind of been knocked down from their proverbial perch when it comes to relevant monetization strategies. Since the creation of things like the Battle Pass from Fortnite, loot boxes have been mostly phased out, only really existing in games like Counter-Strike. Murder Mystery 2's loot boxes function exactly as how you would imagine them to function. A slot machine. You spend what is honestly quite a lot of in-game coins to open a crate that has a percentage chance to give you something really cool. Because it uses in-game coins, I think this is perfectly acceptable for a game like Murder Mystery 2, but come on, dude. 1,000 coins per crate? That is at the very least 20 rounds, if you're lucky. And you have to have the Elite Game Pass because it lets you carry 50 coins. Otherwise, if you're a completely free-to-play player, you have to do 50 perfect rounds, collecting 20 coins every single round. That takes hours. However, that's really the only gripe that I have with these loot boxes. There's also smaller stuff like crafting, which lets you, well, craft new items using ingredients from old items. This is seriously one of the most underrated and underused mechanics in all of Murder Mystery 2, and it can be a good way to get rid of some of the old bad items you have in exchange for some new awesome items. But skins alone don't build dedicated fan bases. Sure, having cool skins is nice, but if those skins are otherwise valueless, then what's the point of getting them other than they look cool? Well, that question is answered by Murder Mystery 2's arguably largest mechanic, trading. There is an entire underground Murder Mystery 2 skin trading scene. It makes sense, honestly. When your game is that old and has that many skins, why wouldn't there be a huge majority of people who only care about trading those skins? In fact, there are entire websites dedicated to just giving values to these skins. Values in Murder Mystery are very interesting. They're all based off of one single item, the seer knife. This knife was originally created by combining 10 legendary items together. The seer knife is used as a sort of currency in the world of MM2 trading, with nearly every relevant item being given a value worth in seers. Some of these items range anywhere from 5 seers all the way to 25 million seers. I think that one is a meme, but don't quote me on that. People go absolutely insane for some of these rarer items. I couldn't tell you how many times people wanted to trade for my Choco knife just because it was from 2016 and worth quite a lot of seers for a common knife. This insane demand for high value items keeps players coming back. Maybe not even for the game itself, but rather the trading aspect of the game itself. So how are these items given values? Well, it's all about the laws of supply and demand. Murder Mystery 2 has a lot of seasonal events. Even now while writing this, they're wrapping up their Halloween 2024 event, which came along with a bunch of unique event items. Oftentimes the most valuable items in the game are from these special events. Think about it. Getting a rare item from any old crate you can just buy off of the shop is much more common than getting a rare item from a crate that's only available for a few weeks out of the year. Some people go even as far as to buy rare MM2 items for actual Robux, which I think might break Roblox terms of service, but don't quote me on that. With all of this in mind, I think we have our answer. Murder Mystery 2 isn't the most expansive Roblox game, and it's not the most complex Roblox game, but what it is consistent. Consistently fun, consistently engaging, and building communities with the trading scene, and it's really the only game that has survived this long. Think about all of the great Roblox games that we all used to play. Games that have been long since broken and forgotten. All of those games are still out there sitting with 0 players, and it's nice to see that at least one of them still lives on to this day. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.